Is this the final destination of anime? Maybe, but today I'm going to go over my spoiler free and my spoiler filled thoughts on the anime show titled Another. When Koichi arrives at his new school, he immediately senses something frightening in the atmosphere of his new class. Something that no student wants to talk about, and that seems to be related to a mysterious and silent girl. I have quite a lot of mixed thoughts on this show. There are a lot of things that I like, but there are also some things I wasn't as impressed with or think they could have done better. So this might be my own fault for going in with the wrong expectations, but I was expecting a lot more gore, splatter, and especially creative kills, and while I can't deny that the show does have a couple of pretty good moments, I was expecting and hoping for more. When you Google Final Destination anime, you'll probably see Another as one of the first results, and when I think of Final Destination, I think of splatter and creative kills. But I was a little disappointed. I think my favorite kill in the show was the first kill. None of the other kills really passed that for me. There were some fairly creative kills. There is some pretty solid splatter, especially since this is an anime and they can really show that splatter, but I wanted more. Now, I probably just went into the show with the wrong expectations, so this might honestly just be my fault, but I think it's important to tell you this because, this impacted my rating. I will say this show is fairly similar to Final Destination in the fact that there's going to be these inevitable kills that are fairly creative. I might make it sound like they're not creative at all, but I think that some of these kills are pretty creative. It is definitely a lot more serious than Final Destination, which isn't a bad thing. I actually think it works in favor for this show, but if you're gonna go in, don't expect it to be as goofy as Final Destination. Now, another problem I have with this show is how confusing I found it, and I might just be stupid and you don't have a problem with this, but I had a hard time understanding everything. And, a lot of things could have affected that, reading subtitles. I did have a hard time understanding everything that was going on in the show. So, just things to keep in mind. I will say episode 8 in this show is enjoyable, but I think it's mostly filler. Do not skip it though, definitely don't skip it, because towards the end it has some things that are important to the story. And I thought the first 3 episodes were pretty slow. Not bad, but they were pretty slow, but by the end of episode 3, it starts to ramp up a bit. This show is pretty dialogue heavy, which isn't a bad thing, but go in knowing that this show is not an action show. There are some, gory deaths, but there's no, actual action. There's no fighting. Don't expect that. I didn't expect that, but I just, don't expect that at all. The show is pretty atmospheric, especially the first couple of episodes where everything kind of fell off. I don't remember how atmospheric it was after that, but I think for at least the first 3 episodes, it, is pretty atmospheric. I also really thought the opening song was really good. The story itself I found really creative and interesting, and as I said, it can be hard to fully understand, but I thought it was creative, and I also really liked the 2 main characters in the show. I found them quite likable. I know I might sound pretty critical of this show, but I actually had a good time with it. I definitely recommend this show if it sounds interesting to you. I liked it. I'm probably going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was pretty good. When you finish the show, I would highly recommend watching the OVA if you could find a way to watch it. It's a really good episode that helps you understand the main girl a lot more and get to know a little bit more about her backstory. There is a live action movie version, I guess, of the show, and I do plan on making a review for that next week or most likely the week after this. This show is based on a novel, and there's also a manga, and I do plan on eventually reading those, but I don't think I'll make a review on them. I don't know how to review books. I don't read that much. I'm trying to get into reading, but I'm not the biggest reader. Okay, I'm gonna go over my spoiler-filled thoughts, so big spoiler warning. I think the umbrella kill, where the lady falls down the stairs and is impelled by her umbrella, is probably my favorite kill. I also really like the elevator death and the boat kill, where the kid is hit by the boat propeller. I do wish we got a bit more brutal with the boat kill, and I was disappointed with the teacher kill, where the teacher kills himself with a knife. I thought the splatter was good in it, but I wish it was more brutal, my own personal taste. I do wonder, because this probably sounds like I'm some maniac, a lot of horror fans definitely get when, you talk about, oh, that was a good kill or not, but I wonder the people who don't watch horror, what they think when I'm, saying, oh, this kill was so good. They probably think I'm some maniac. I thought the final reveal, or who the dead person was pretty good, with it being Kuchi's aunt, who was also the assistant teacher. Funny enough, I didn't realize she and the assistant teacher were the same people until the last episode, or maybe I did at the beginning, but I forgot. Okay, those are my thoughts. I would love to know your opinion on this show, if you've seen it. If you like this video, I would recommend my spoiler-free thought on the first season of Chucky, if you want to watch, a review on a show. They're not very similar at all, but that's my only other review of a show that I have released yet. So I'll put that link in the description. Thank you for watching, and with that, bye.